Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another amazing broadcast. We're in the month of April, and if you're like me, you're excited. You're excited why? Because it's another opportunity for us to talk about autism. Yes, every day is always a chance to do that, but for the month of April, it has specially been dedicated to talk about autism. And who else but me and my amazing friends who will be joining me in having this amazing conversation. And the goal for us is very simple. We want you to know more about autism. We want to invite you into our world. We want you to know what you don't know. We want you to be informed about the many misconceptions, the myths that are out there, but more than ever, to know that autism is not the end of the world. And that if I'm okay and my amazing guests who will be on this platform are okay, that you will be okay as well. So again, welcome to another heartfelt conversation in Autism Awareness series. I say series because I'm going to be having more speakers join me on this amazing platform. Now, today, I have the amazing Mona here with me. Mona, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
There you go. So I have Mona here with me, who we will be having an amazing conversation with about autism. Yes, you heard me right. We're going to be going into the world of Mona today. Mona has the spotlight. She has the cookie today, and we're going to be hearing more about what autism is to her, what it means to her lived experience, and more than ever, her words of encouragement, not only to me, but to everyone who will be watching this, and continue watching it, because that's the goal for us, like I said, to increase your awareness on what autism is all about. So let me introduce Mona to you in case this is your very first time of meeting Mona. But of course, I will introduce myself. But let me introduce my guest first of all to you so you know who Mona is. So Mona is a multifaceted professional with over 2 decades of experience working with the NHS as a qualified general practice nurse. She's also a specialist midwife. You see, I have professionals in here. I'm so excited with the NHS. She also has a fellowship with them. That's the NHS England Clinical Leadership Fellow. See, such a mouthful. Currently a specialist lead in diabetic in pregnancy and studying an MSc in advanced clinical practice. She's also the chairperson for Mona Maternal and Child Health Foundation, and also the CEO of Mona Exclusive Limited. She's very passionate about health programs, promotions, educations for doctors, for nurses, midwives, students, and patients, collaborating and supporting non-profit organizations globally, advocating to enhance and improve care delivery and outcomes for women and children. In her spare time, of course, she enjoys meeting new people, organizing social gatherings and events, and she's an amazing proud mother of 2 children. Please help me celebrate the ones who are watching this right now. Mona, who will be joining us today. Mona, once again, please say hello to everyone.
Hello.
You would increase your tempo of your voice so that we hear you
Oh
very
my
well. But your
goodness.
energy matches mine.
That intro was a bit of a mouthful. Seriously, I'm still awed by it. Yes, thank
You're
you.
doing
Thank you so
amazing. You're
much.
doing very well, and we are so proud of you and the work that you are doing. So today, like I said, we are doing something really special. We're amplifying the voices of mothers, especially who are raising incredible, allow me to say it the second time, incredible, and for the third time, incredible masterpieces. That's what we call them in another group that I'm in. We don't call them autistic, but we call them masterpieces because that's what God said, and we say what God says. So allow me to call them masterpieces for you here today. And as a mom coach, I know that motherhood is already a deep journey. It's not, like I always like to say, not for the faint-hearted. It's a lot of work. And by parenting a child on the spectrum brings unique challenges with it and powerful moments of growth, love, and discovery. So this conversation is not only about answering, or should I say the goal is not about answering all your questions, because I don't think we'll be able to do that, but about creating space for understanding, support, and inclusion. I'll say that again for those at the back, not you, those at the back. Yeah, you get it. So this conversation is not about having all your answers all your questions answered. It's about creating space for understanding, support, and inclusion. Whether you know a little, or you know a lot, or you know nothing about autism, I invite you to lean in, listen, and learn. So grab your cup of coffee, your favorite drink. I have my water here. Get whatever is your favorite drink. And let's hear from a mom who is walking the journey with courage, faith, and fierce love. Oh, that's Mona right now. So Mona, we're going to go straight into our questions right now. So can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your child?
Okay. As you've rightly said, I don't think I can beat your introduction, but my name's Mona, and I'm a proud mother of two boys. One at uni, and then, of course, one who is 5. So there's quite a gap there. And yes, I am a professional. I've always worked, and I've worked within the NHS in the healthcare sector. And, I've got interest in other things. But most importantly, I think I just love being a mom. Very family orientated. I love being a mom.
Yes, we do.
Definitely.
So tell us about your child.
My little blessing, I'm going to have to take your catchphrase away today, but my little blessing, I call him.
Yes.
He's an amazing 5-year-old. Loving, very, very affectionate, and extra happy. I mean, I've never seen a person who's just so happy, be it in his own world, but very happy. He's a happy boy.
Love it.
Yes.
I like the way you described it, because it leads right into my next question, where I was going to ask you, can you please describe your child in 3 words? So if you just, for the benefit of those who just want to hear how awesome, you've not told us his name as well. What's his name?
David.
Awesome. So please tell us, how would you describe David in 3 words?
David is happy.
Yay!
Very happy.
Yes.
And very affectionate, loves hugs, loves kisses, cuddles, And David is extremely intelligent.
Nice. Love it already. Love it. So, what do you love? What does he love doing, and what makes him really special? Tell me. Let's know more about David.
David loves his family. He says it all the time, I love my family.
Oh, bless. That's so sweet.
Yes, he loves his family. And most importantly, David loves his routine. I mean, we need to follow every step. Otherwise, that's where we turn happy to unhappy. Routine in everything. I mean, what he eats, what he does, every step, every day routine. And of course, David loves the outdoors.
Nice.
He loves seeing new things. He loves seeing the things he's read in books or whatever, and coming to light. That is the fire. He's. In fact, I'm learning from David. He loves being outdoors, and he loves identifying things and memorizing number plates. And it's the outdoors is his oyster. He's happy there. There's so much to see. Much to see.
Yeah. As someone who has studied early years. We call that exploring the world, understanding the world. So yeah, love it for David. So now we're going very deep now. I say deep because we are going now into why we're here today. So we know a little bit about you. We know a little bit about David. Amazing. Now we want to go into why we're here today. Remember, for those who are here, in case you fast forwarded it, let me tell you why we're here. Yes, we're here because we want to give you more insight and hopefully make you more aware about autism. So this is why we're here, Mona. The moment, like they say, not the final countdown, but that moment. So tell me, when did you first notice something was different? And that's how I would like to say it. When did you get like, something doesn't feel quite right there?
I'll say, oh God, as early as a few days. I think because I'm a professional, as I am a midwife, I think David showed some signs that I was thinking, oh, why are his hands and legs in the air, and why is he going all, you would normally get that leg up and certain positions in the cot with a breech, a baby who was in a breech position. So I could tell immediately that that's different. And when you walk in the room, even as early as a week old, and he hears your voice, because he couldn't have seen me or be able to see that clearly, you will see him going that leg up, hand up. I thought, okay, he's a bit overly excited, this little one.
Yeah, I like the way you said
then,
it. Overly excited.
Yeah, very excited.
Love it.
So I was happy he recognizes me and he's all excited. But it carried on. So that but as early as that, I could tell he was already flapping and flaring hands and feet. And his fascination for light started at a very early age. I mean, he could just stare at the living room light. He's breastfeeding, he's staring. He's having a bath, he's staring. Because I was bathing him in the living room. I had the station, because I sat to bath him in his bath thing. And it was nice and warm there anyway. I thought that was the warmest place in the house. I'm not very traditional. I do what is comfortable for me. Of course. So in those early stages, a week old, we were in the living room and he could just stare at that chandelier for a long time. And I couldn't understand it, but it started that early, those little signs. And of course, as we move to milestones with regards to 6 months development, and I could tell he wasn't walking at the right time. It wasn't, so it just carried on in that sense. But I noticed, to answer your question, as early as a few days old.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think that's the difference between you and I. Because I think for me, I noticed when he was about 18 months. But now when I look back, I see that signs have been dropped that I did not take hints of. Because obviously I'm not like you, like the professionals. And if I'm being honest with you, Mona, there's no mom who'll be like, oh, my child is going to be autistic, so let me watch out for these signs.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God,
exactly.
no. I wouldn't give him a diagnosis at that time. The question
you know what
is,
I mean? Exactly.
Yes. No. I was in denial. No. Oh, God, no. Oh, exactly. Professional or not.
I wouldn't be out there looking. And like you rightly said, you have a son who at the moment is in university. So you've raised a child before. So you're kind of like a laid back, okay, for those who don't know, I have 3 boys as well. Mona has 2, I have 3. So we've done this before. We've been there, done that. We have the T-shirt. So when I go, he's going to be fine. And that's what I typically would say, be fine. Let's just leave it.
Everyone's different. It's a COVID baby. I kept saying that for how long?
There you go. That's another level, isn't it, that we place and blamed a lot of things on. But yes, I agree with you. So mine was different. Mine was 18 months when I felt like, something doesn't feel quite right. And the interesting thing is that it happened in church. A child who was like 4 months between, no, actually I'm wrong, a month, 6 weeks maybe, because she's October, beginning of October, he's end of October, after 15. Anyway, she ran into the church and she said, Daddy, and it struck me. I was like, I nudged my husband beside me. I'm like, has Tammy said any words? Have you? I'm being honest. I don't want to say I swear to God, because you guys swear to God, but that was my Kodak moment. If you're like, when the pin dropped in the room and you're like, gang, gang, that was my moment. So yeah, it's different for everyone, and I think that's what we're trying to say. So
yes,
Mona is a professional. So
yes, David did go into nursery quite early because I had to get back to work. So you see, for me, that reality kept unfolding because he was in the presence of other children.
Yes.
And where he's not engaging, where he's not, so those were being picked up quite quickly. So it will be different for a mother who is, caring for her child at home. Yes. And different from, somebody. Everyone's journey is different, and every child is an individual. So there's no benchmarking, with regards to it has to follow this and no. Yes. That's why I kept telling myself he's a different individual. He'll get there. He'll do this. Yeah. But then again, when the signs are there, they're there.
Yeah, there. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, and I'm hoping that as you are listening to us, you are getting for lack of a better word, the gist of what we are saying, because that's what we're having here. We're having a conversation, a chat, and an informal one, because we are not trying to be very serious, even though what we are saying is very serious. This is lived experience. We are saying we've been there, done that. We have the T-shirt, but we are here to raise more awareness in terms of what autism is, what it looks like, and also, like I said, make you more aware And remember the 3 keywords I used when I was starting my introduction and starting this. I said there are 3 things that I want to. If there was one thing you said, Talks, what do you want anyone who listened to your message here today? What do you want them to hear from what Mona is saying and from what Talks is saying? I want you, understanding, support, and inclusion. That's all. Nothing more. I don't think that's a lot. And I like 3. Father, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. So I tend to use 3 a lot. Oh, bless. Okay, so let's move on now because of time, because we could be here forever. But we want to keep this short, sweet, and also very engaging. And I didn't want it to be too serious. I'm hoping as you're watching, you are enjoying the flow of what we are sharing and how bad serious that it is. The world is already hard already as it is. So we just want to keep it lighthearted and share it in a way that you would understand. So moving on to the next question, Mona. I want to say this, and I want to say it this way. So when was that moment, considering the fact that you already had some cues, some signs, you're already kind of like thinking, I'm watching, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, when was that moment? What was the moment like for you when you received the diagnosis? How did you feel in that moment?
Official diagnosis from a pediatrician. I think that one I was expecting it, because I've already had my moment. I've already had my journey of denial, of God forbid, of it is not me, or he will get there, or you know what I mean, or he's an individual, he's just different.
Yes.
So by the time I think I got that diagnosis from the pediatrician, I actually wanted it. I was waiting on it. In fact, I needed a confirmation at that stage that I wasn't imagining things.
Stuff.
Yeah, so when I got that, it was sad to hold on to that paper because now I've labeled my child officially. But I was relieved that I can now go forward and support him. Because I've already come to a conclusion. I needed to support him to start school. He's not meeting his milestones. So that was a bittersweet moment for me. And yes, a tear or two, not because I was too sad, it's because of that reality of it is what it is. There is that confirmation now. I'm not going crazy, but it is now a label that, whether we like it or not, this is what it is. Yes. And the sweet moment of it is now I've got that paper. I need to now move forward to support him because I'm telling you, he will meet those goals. I started turning it around.
That's right. That's right. Love it. I love the way you're saying it. And I can understand what you're saying. Unlike me, I think when I got it, I was like, really? Oh my gosh. It was a lot of mixed emotion. And like you certainly said, I did not deny. I don't think I was in denial, but I was more in shock. And that shock lasted a long time before I could come out of it because I was like, how? And if you're a person of faith like me, I went to God and I said, God, I asked you for a child. I told you I wanted 3. You promised me 3. I saw 3. In fact, can I say that I saw Tammy before he was born? If you're that spiritual, you know what I mean. I knew I was having a boy. I saw him. I saw him. I'm like, God, you didn't. And anyway, I'm saying this to say this, that my moment was definitely shock. And I was in there for a long time. And eventually when I came out, I said, just like you rightly said, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And don't get me wrong, I had my moments. And I still have my moments. That I'm crying my eyes out and saying all the positive things around the world because I will not use my mouth to say anything negative. For as many people know, I flip everything. And I'm saying, Tammy talks, Tammy speaks, Tammy sings. And I'm going on and I'm crying and I'm saying it and I'm saying it and I keep saying it until I feel better inside of me. And then I get on with my day again. I'm saying this to say that it is not a bed of roses, just like we know life is. We have our moments. And so I don't want to come up here and try to downplay it and make it seem like, oh, we don't have tough moments for free. I'm sure if I allow Mona will share lots of tough moments.
I'll give you one. I haven't slept for 5 years all through the night. These bags are not going anywhere.
Yeah, There you go. So thank you for sharing that now. So my next question will be, what would you say to a mom who is just listening to us right now and who has just got a diagnosis? You understand? She's not like you, who is a medical professional.
No.
She's someone like me who is just looking at child, and maybe she had a Kodak moment, or maybe she didn't even have any Kodak. In fact, let's say she's even seeing the signs and she's saying, "Oh, leave it," and eventually she got a diagnosis. What would you say to that in a few words?
Take a breath. Take a deep breath. Find your space because you need to digest it. It is hard to accept it. And that letter is a forced acceptance.
I like that, forced acceptance.
It's a forced, it's in your hand, it's clear, it's written, it's in print, it's in his record, it's forced acceptance. So whatever the denial was, whatever the family say, whatever, your faith says, it's there. And then when you've taken your moment, you accept it. In the sense of, now I have discovered this. What am I going to do about it? You need to think next steps. Otherwise, you will move on. Because ultimately, I'll say, my driver was my child.
Yes.
I want to make sure he gets every opportunity, everything he needs to be able to face the world.
That's right.
Be it school, be it, play, be it friendships, anything he needs. Yes. That was my whole drive. And that's still what I'm driving for. Yes. And don't look at that letter as a defeat, or as I saw it in so many ways. But by the time I realized it was my ticket to get help for him, to get support that he needs. That letter became golden. That diagnosis became golden. So once you've cried, once you've prayed, make a plan.
Love it. And I'll round it up in saying in adding to what Mona has just said, faith without works is dead. So I like how she said you prayed. Yes, because we will pray. Oh, yes, we will pray. We will pray. We are praying.
We will pray. You will cry to God over and over again. Oh, yes.
And then we will take action. We will pick up ourselves. We will find out where a speech therapist is. We will find out occupational therapist. We'll find out people who know more about this, who will join organization. We'll find a sister. Mona is my sister, for example. Now we know how we have our midnight calls and we are just and like
2 o'clock.
Don't see anything, just let me talk. Just allow me, So you need that. You need that. Trust me, everyone needs, I'm a mom coach for those who don't know, and I cannot begin to explain to you how many women I speak to, how many moms I speak to, and the importance of having someone in your corner that is not your family, if I need to say so. Because sometimes your family might not be the best person to help you. How bad they love you, and I'm sure they do. But somebody external. That's why people see counselors, people see therapists, and some people like, I'm not paying for therapists. Good luck to you. That's all I'm going to say. But we here, we do what is best for us, for our mindset, for our lives, and we know that we get better results because of that. So let me move on quickly to the next question, because I'm looking at our time, and I did promise you we're not going to stay here for too long. So what kept you going when it was very overwhelming?
If I say I hung on to the Lord for dear life, you would say she's too religious.
No, I would not say that. Because, guilty.
Every day was as hard as you like, and as I said before, I think for me, sleep or lack of sleep was it for me.
Yes.
But it's cliche to say, watching a happy and loving child, that love, that determination, that's protection.
Yes.
That I alone can protect him. You want to just guard him through the day, and that keeps you going.
Yes.
You want to provide for his needs throughout the day because you feel like you're the only one that can do it best.
That's right.
That keeps you going.
Yes.
So for me, that's what drove me.
Okay.
And when I start seeing those rewards in progress,
yes,
I mean, you can't stop. You just can't stop.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. So, we're rounding off right now quickly, but I want to ask one question, and this is relating to David now. And I want to say it this way: what do people misunderstand about your child's behavior?
I almost want to say, when you look at David, he looks absolutely, for lack of a better word, normal. I hate saying abnormal. I hate saying normal. I mean, he looks like every other developed child of his age.
Absolutely. I like the way you said it. Yes.
Yes. So it's quite difficult for someone to understand when he runs to somebody and starts asking questions. When he starts to show some certain behavior, it's like a throwback. Yes. And people tend to not understand they are not as safe, or people or children with autism, or somebody who's autistic needs that support or that level of support, because they can't see it. It's not physical. It's until you get to know the child and get to know their need, then you understand really. I think for me, they do not see the safety aspects. And sometimes they do not see how amazingly intelligent he is and how bright he is. Because it's one spectrum, one end to the other. They either pick on what he's not doing well, or where he's not meeting this or meeting that. Or for some people, they just find him extremely intelligent and think, oh, he knows everything. He could read that too. So how does he need any help? You forget. He doesn't know he's not aware of any dangers. He could just literally walk into the road while he's counting and talking about rainbows. You know what I mean? The little things. Yes. And what they really don't understand is also the importance of engaging with others. There's those little things that you can't. If you had a child in crutches or, query blind, it's obvious to see that lack of ability.
Absolutely. Yes.
And they almost want to think, I'm so sorry to say, there is still that stigma of, this one just needs to be told off. This one just needs to be disciplined. What is all this meltdown? That judgment that this child is not being understood.
Yes.
That awareness, whether it be in family, friends, in education, in the society, there has to be the awareness.
Yes.
That this is what, and this is how it manifests, and this is how you can support this person. So it's not just talking about to moms. I believe moms know. They know what their children need. They know how to protect them. It's generally how they can navigate the world.
That's right.
People need to be aware when they start school, when they go out to the supermarket, when they're in church. You just have to give that level of understanding.
Absolutely.
So the awareness needs to really go far and wide, even in our own families.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm not picking names or picking people, even in our own families.
I concur.
He's spoiled, he's this, he's that, why is he not talking? Why is it all this one? It's all that. Yes, it's a lot, but let's not talk negative. I'm telling you, it's only awareness that can change this.
That's right.
And I can see it creeping in.
Yes.
I mean, everywhere. Not just in England, even in Africa, I can see it creeping in. Absolutely. And that acceptance is beginning to come to light, even in schools. Yes. And it cannot stop. We cannot stop. You need to keep going. And this is why I appreciate what you're doing. We need to keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you've said a lot about that, and you've also included a bit of acceptance into what you said. So I'll leave that question alone right now. And I think I just have a minute or two. And I just want us to have this discussion, about 1 or 2 minutes, about what is the biggest misconception about autism. So I will start the conversation and then I'll allow you. So autism is a neurological disorder. So it's not, I was born with it, I got it from the genes and all of that. There's a lot of stories. I like to call them stories. There's a lot of narrative on the internet and when you search about where it comes from. But at this moment, we don't have, it's just like cancer. I believe that at the moment, there's a lot of speculation about where cancer comes from, but there is no accurate, when HIV, we know, because we know there's treatment. HIV can be caught in the strap before it becomes AIDS. So we know that there's treatment for, but things like cancer, the second thing I will say before I hand over to you to add to the conversation is that autism is a spectrum. For those who don't know, it's called autism spectrum disorder. Spectrum disorder. A range. a range. So it starts from here. Because of my screen, I'll just do as far as my screen is, but it's wide is what I'm trying to say. So you have those who are completely in bed. They're helped to do everything. Allow me to call them very, 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 very low functioning. And then we have those on the other side, very, 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 very high functioning, who are winning awards, who their brain is like, imagine a 4-year-old already calculating 2 times 10 plus 10 plus 20 and giving you the answer without, and you're like, what? Exactly. They call them geniuses, autism spectrum disorder. Yes, yeah, you can speak to the gods about that. So I'm not going to have the conversation with you about that. And we have a lot of scientists who are autistic. We have a lot of athletes who are autistic, which you perhaps do not know, but we know. So, Mona, just join in this conversation. We have a few minutes on this. What would you like to add to what I've just said in terms of what is the biggest misconception about autism?
Like I said before, it's not physical, it's not visual, and well, the misconception of it is the lack of understanding is what causes this misconception, in my opinion. Is because people generally don't believe the first thing, whether be it, society, that somebody can be autistic. They do not see it as an illness. They do not see it as a disorder. They see it as it's not been identified by most people as a disability or lack of ability. I think that's the biggest misconception, because they do not understand the effect of it and the dilapidating effect of it. It's easier to identify or not to have so much of concerns, or when you see some child or a person on the lower end of the spectrum that completely is dependent on everything. It's easily identified. We worry when you have a child who is bordering on normal physically, able to walk on their own. But they cannot process the simplest thing. They cannot tell you when they are hungry. You have to figure that out. But they've calculated 300 times, 15 times, because they're in that world. They do not know when they need to wee. They need to be told everything. Get up, brush your teeth, go and wee, go and drink, take a sip, swallow. I've had to tell my son, chew and swallow, because it will take 1 hour to feed him a little bowl. Because he forgets, he drifts off while the food is still in his mouth.
Amazing.
So that misconception is just because it is not physical. It is not easily identified.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mona. So I have 2 minutes left before we call it a day, but I'm so excited and grateful for having this moment with you. And in closing, I want to say, let's talk about David as we round off right now. In 1 minute, tell me, what is your child's biggest win and what moment has made you proud? Let's do 2 in 1.
All right. I celebrated the day David stood up and took his first steps. That was about 2.5 years old. Very late, but yay. And I would say my proudest moment was when I heard speech. When he called me mom, I cried. I mean, that was it. My son can speak. That was it for me. That was everything to me.
I receive it.
It's coming.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mona. You've been amazing. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of experience, from your lived experience. I'm so grateful for your honesty, your vulnerability, and your strength that you have showed in today's conversation. And if you're watching, and perhaps you'll be reading this because I might transcribe it into a blog article, who knows? I'm hoping that you've learned something new. That's what awareness looks like. If your heart felt a little bit open, that's the beginning of inclusion. Let's remember that autism does not need to be fixed. It needs to be understood. And behind every autistic child is the parent navigating this journey with grace, grief, and love. And this is just one story, and there are so many more to be heard. So let's keep this conversation going all through this month of April and beyond. I would like you to tag a friend, share this when you watch it, comment, and let's help spread this awareness one conversation at a time. Once again, thank you for joining me, Mona, on today's episode of Autism Awareness series. I'm hoping that we'll have many more times to talk and engage on this topic. Before we go, is there any last words you want to say out to our amazing audience?
I'll just say, stay strong, stay faithful, and trust me, love conquers all.
Yes, indeed. Thank you
The
again.
love of a mother is amazing.
Yes, it is. So once again, thank you, Mona, for being a speaker on this series of Autism Awareness. I'm grateful. I love you. You know how I feel about you. Thank you for doing this with me and spreading the word of autism. So for those who don't know me, or this is the very first time you're meeting me, my name is Tokes and I'm your mom coach. And yeah, connect with me in the chat section and let's take it on. But once again, thank you, everyone. God bless. Bye. Bye.